Hello, welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. A big welcome back to my beautiful returning subscribers. As always, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your presence. A big welcome to all of the new subscribers this month, but also to everyone new to the channel. If you've just found yourself on this channel or stumbled across it, we would love to have you join us. Please subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, your like button. It helps me to bring you guys more content. And I do pick a card readings on this channel, so we're all friends when we gather around this table. For today's pick a card topic, we are asking about a person on your mind, and do they think about you? Do they still care about you? What are their current thoughts? Do they miss you? Do they still care? We have 3 piles to choose from today. We have pile number 1 here with the High Priestess and the blue button. Pile 2 with the Sun and the yellow button. And pile number 3 with the 4 of Cups here and the purple button. So we have this Witch. I think this is Maleficent, isn't it? From Sleeping Beauty. We have the Crab from Moana, and we have Captain Hook from Peter Pan. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, it's very nostalgic because this is the Disney Villains Tarot, so it's really all about kind of the past, childhood. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be a message waiting today from your person. And I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. I do want to take a moment here to mention spam content in my comment section, but also on Instagram I have another person posing as the Tarot Cottage sending DMs to people. So I will never send a direct message to you unless you have won the free tarot reading, and I will respond to you via the comment section below and give you very clear instructions on how to notify me if you're chosen the winner. So please protect yourself. If somebody approaches you in a DM in Instagram or on YouTube somehow and they're posing as the Tarot Cottage, please protect yourself and seek me out. Send me a message under one of the links below, and I'll make sure that I clarify that is not me. But I digress. For this particular reading, we are asking the question about, do they miss you? Do they still care? I'm going to jump right into pile number 1, and my timestamps are listed below. Hello, pile 1. You were drawn to the blue button and to the High Priestess here, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. And we're asking the question, do they miss you? Do they still care? Now, there's an aspect here. I almost kind of felt bad for Maleficent, especially in that movie they made with Angelina Jolie. It just kind of made me see her in a new light here. And so there's a lot of secrecy surrounding the High Priestess in general. There's this crow here which can vocalize, but it's like somebody who doesn't feel like they can actually express how they truly feel, perhaps because of position, because of the restrictions. Maleficent's wearing this hat that always reminded me of the devil. And so there could be a lot of insecurity associated with this connection at this time, or some attachments as well. So let's take a look and see if they still miss you. Do they still care? Do you cross their minds at all? So pile number 1, do they miss you? Do they still care? What are their current thoughts and feelings surrounding your connection from the past? We have the King of Cups. It could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. The 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups, I've often said, is my favorite card in all of the decks. The 6 of Cups is my favorite card because it represents such a beautiful, innocent love that needs to be protected. So there's a lot of youth or innocence associated with this connection. You may have gone to school with them or just came of age with them in some way. And the truth is that it's not even just about missing you or caring about you, truthfully. They're sitting on a really harsh reality when it comes to the two of you. And it's like painful epiphanies that have come in since you have been disconnected in some way, because they still hold such a beautiful light surrounding your connection in the past. They're filled with beautiful nostalgic memories, and they want to keep it safe. They're protecting it. They feel sometimes like they have to sometimes purposefully ignore the emotion they're feeling if they want to focus on what they're doing in the present. It's like it's necessity sometimes that I have to turn my back against how I truly feel here. This person or you may have moved into new realms. You may have evolved into new relationships. You may have moved away because things have changed. You've grown, you've evolved. But that doesn't mean this person's feelings have changed, because even though there's been huge growth, when they think about you, they still think about you in the context of that past element, of that past connection. And that's where their emotion stays. It's like a permanent state of emotion that they feel for you, and it's very loving. It's very innocent though, too. It's not, it doesn't feel like super, super fire between the two of you. Not that there couldn't have been a spark, but I feel like the two of you didn't really follow that spark the way that you should have. We have the Ace of Pentacles with the Five of Wands. I'm just going to turn this little light on for a little extra warmth here. And back of the deck is the Knight of Cups, and we also have the Seven of Cups. And you know, this Knight of Cups, I feel like this was like a really decent person too, that you were dealing with in the past. I feel like the two of you got on really, really well, and I feel like they would have done anything for you. Like, this is the type of person that makes me feel like they would give you the shirt off their back. If you asked them, they would give you the shirt off their back, even if they had nothing else to wear. And I also feel like they kept a lot of their feelings hidden from you. Like, if it was friendship, it wasn't friendship. And I think you know that. And I think they think that you know that. But there was never an actual conversation that was true, that was vulnerable between the two of you. And they really regret that, because they feel like the confusion is now laying in the balance of this connection. And despite the fact that there could have been quite a space between seeing them in the past versus today, they still feel really kind of tempted to reach out to you to reveal this secret. But things have changed, and you know, they don't want to create havoc in your life right now, and they realize that could happen. They could become an obstacle in your experience, and because they care about you so deeply, they don't want to do that. When this person thinks about you, they get jealous because they don't like to think of you with other people, even though they have no right to say that. And even though you may have moved into, you know, a full-fledged commitment perhaps for some, and that's not for everyone, they get really jealous when they think about you. Because again, they've evolved, but it's like emotionally, when it comes to this connection, it is rooted in the past. But they still feel tempted to kind of reach out to you. We have the Seven of Wands. There's this aspect of like them following you around in the past too. It's like, and they felt like they were kind of overwhelming, or they felt like they came on too strong with some of their generosity towards you. And this doesn't have to be gifts, but it's just like them wanting to spend time with you, wanting to hang out. It's like they felt like they came on a little bit too strong, and so now they're kind of kicking themselves because they feel like they created obstacles to clarity between the two of you in the past. And now they don't, when they think about reaching out to you, they don't want to literally, quote unquote, badger you by creating conflict for your experience. For someone watching, they may be privy to the fact that you've moved into a cycle of family. So there could be children involved at this time too. And that's the last thing they want to do, is to create any conflict for you, because the truth is that they care deeply about you. They definitely miss you. There's the Five of Cups reversed. They have a lot of regrets, but there's also a lot of things they don't regret too with the Five of Cups reversed. This is calling for sort of a forgiveness cycle. It's almost like they want to reach out to you to clarify, hey, you know what, just to let you know, in the past, this is how I felt. And I'm sorry I didn't take action, and it wasn't you, it was me. It's like they want forgiveness for the lack of action or the lack of clarity that they provided. We have the Ace of Swords and the Sun. And the truth is that time has shifted reality in the 3D. That there are now foundations that are formed. I feel like there's space between the two of you. You guys could be living very far apart. There's just a lot of obstacles here that get in the way of pure clarity. But there's a part of them that really kind of thinks or really hopes that you already sort of know that even if they're too, you know, uncomfortable or not enough vulnerability accessible to be able to create a clearance of the confusion, that they feel like that you already know how they feel. Because in a perfect world, they keep saying, in a perfect world, we would have been together, we would have had a relationship, you would be an ex. You wouldn't have just been a friend that I had, you would have been my ex. Or we would be together today in some way, because they're talking about dreams and wishes that they held over this connection. And now all they can do is think about those. We have the Four of Wands. Because they keep being conflicted about what could have, should have, would have been in this situation. And they think that this could be twin flame soulmate energy as well. That you definitely have created a prompt for this person's healing and reflection. It's like, even though there's been space between, you have followed them through time. And I feel like it's a very mutual thing. There's the Three of Pentacles, there's the Page of Wands. They're still very curious about how you are doing in the 3D and whether or not you're satisfied there, whether or not you're finding fulfillment, how your walk is going. They're really curious about you still. But I do still feel, again, we started with the High Priestess, there's the Seven of Swords, that they're keeping a lot of this very close to their chest, because if they have other commitments involved, they definitely don't, they're a sensitive person, and they definitely don't want to cause unnecessary insecurity in their current partner either. I just feel like this is a decent person. Do you miss? Do they still care? We have Success, we have Whale, and we have Clubs. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. We have Success, and I feel like they've gained a lot in life, but we have Whale, Great Worry Over Nothing. And that's the reason why they're worrying, because they're like, you don't know how I feel. But the truth is that you really do know how they feel, and you felt the same way. And so they're really worrying about nothing, about wanting to express something that they feel like could drown them. You know, it's like they feel like if they don't get it out, they're gonna drown in this emotion, or they're gonna take it to the grave, so to speak. We also have here Egg, success assured with good plans and hard work. And that's the realization that they've come to about the opportunity that they missed with you, is that there was potential here. And if I just put in a little bit more effort, if I just pushed past my insecurities, pushed past my own fears, we could have had it all together. And that's this revelation that they keep bringing forward, is that we could have had it all together. Do they miss you? Do they still care? What are their current feelings and impressions surrounding this connection from your past? We have look deeply within to discover your soul's purpose in your relationship. And that's the thing too, is that it took time and space perhaps for them to be able to really allow themselves to sink deeply into reflection about you and this connection. And you also had to kind of look beyond the immediate appearances of your relationship in the past, or your friendship in the past, to see the discernible truth here. And we also have here Temptation. Think carefully about the situation, because they're still tempted to reach out. But they know that that will cause unnecessary conflict, and they don't want to do that. What they do want to express is that they think that there was something remarkable about this connection. And now it's like they couldn't put their finger on it in the past, but now they're starting to recognize it more and more with what they feel is missing in their current 3D situation. They're recognizing more and more about all of the remarkable aspects of the two of you and how special that connection truly is, and still was and still is in their experience. We have here Trickery. And they're frustrated because they felt like they self-sabotaged their own situation and they ran out of time. And now it's like they just keep going back to provide more evidence to themselves of their own guilt, so to speak. It's like they're not blaming you. They are kind of blaming themselves. They're not blaming you at all. You have the House reversed and the Book, and that's why they don't come forward with their truth. They do feel like the potential maybe now is, it's like it's too late. It's like it's too late for us, or maybe it is too late because of timing, because this egg is cracked open. And in the very least, the potential holds with it some loss. It's like we're going to have to cause something to hemorrhage. We're going to have to cause a loss if we want to tap into the magic that we had between the two of us. And it might include having to uproot some investments in our practical realm. And they don't want to do that to you. But they definitely still think about you. They definitely still care about you. I'm going to pull out a few message cards here to see about their current thoughts and feelings, please, towards pile number 1. Finding out the truth really crushed me. But that's the thing, is it was reversed. I don't feel like they found out the truth. I feel like they always knew how they felt. They just buried it. And now it's like they don't, part of them wants to maintain this fantasy of this connection, that it exists perfectly in their mind right now. And if they did reach out to you, maybe you would reveal to them that you didn't feel this exact same way, and that would hurt them. That would crush them to think that you don't feel the mutual way that they feel about you. You have here, I wish that I could take back my words, and it's reversed, because the truth is they just wish they'd expressed more. Like, I wish I just told you how I truly feel instead of holding back how I truly feel. I just don't react when people mention your name. Because now in my position, I have to maintain a secrecy about how I feel and sit upon it. Even though I know it's true, I have to sit upon the truth. I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. And I feel like they would meet you all over again. I do. I feel like they would just do it all over again. Because there's just something almost bittersweet about the connection. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you, wondering if you're doing the same thing. And you don't know how hard it was to let you go. And I feel like they didn't even realize, they couldn't even tap into that truth either about how difficult it would be to let go of the expectation in this connection. I know we're going to start over, but I don't feel they feel that confidence, to be honest. I feel like they hope for that. In a perfect world, you would start over. But they're very well aware of the obstacles that exist here at this time because they hold some of those obstacles. I really just want to talk with you. And I just heard that song from Selena Gomez's, We Don't Talk Anymore. I'm secretly terrified that you don't feel the same way. I just saw I work to distract myself. You and this connection confuse me. I just saw I can see I'm watching as well. It flipped over for a moment. My heart and soul belongs to you. And I feel like that's such a secret that this person keeps in their environment or in their heart of hearts. That's part of the information they're sitting upon. They're guarding that truth. I feel like they are keeping tabs on you. That's why they're privy to your situation. A Facebook creep. And I almost feel like they're not on your Facebook. I just saw this is heartbreaking. I'm holding myself back. Oops, we have two coming out. You are the only thing that I lie about. And the clarity has been a blessing and a curse. So the epiphanies that have come in for this person about you have both been bittersweet, and it's painful, but it's also something they wouldn't let go of. The truth of this connection lays hidden. And that, I feel like that hiddenness lays between the two of you because they know exactly how they feel. I feel like you know exactly how you feel. There's just a disconnect in the information being shared. Let's get a charm bowl, please. What is the last thought that pile one's person had about pile one in the bowl with the teeny tiny tarot? So the last thought they had about you had to do with taking action in some sort of form, whether it be communication. They were really thinking about the delays in communication between the two of you and how if they were to give into this pressure to communicate, what that would do to their practical realm and to their responsibilities. In the charm bowl today, we have forever, and that's the Six of Cups. It's a forever energy. This person cares very deeply about you. It's very innocent energy. We have S and T and T and O and C. So those could be initials, perhaps. We also have here a dime, and it's from 2014. So I do think about October the 10th of any month. We have the Empress. We also have the Leaf of Change and the Star of Aquarius. It's almost like they felt like you were too good for them, or maybe they even communicated that to you. It's like you're too good for me, or you think you're better than me in some way, when you didn't feel that way at all. We also have the Ace of Wands, because that spark has not been extinguished despite the length of time that the two of you have been in disconnect. It has not gone anywhere. All right, pile one, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, drop your comment below for a chance to win a free video reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell if you do, so that if you are chosen the winner, I can notify you and we can get the ball rolling. I am waiting back to hear from my most recent winner at this time, so be sure to check your notifications as well. I also have a link below for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, but I do hope that you come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I do hope you have a wonderful day. Hello, pile number two. You were drawn to the yellow button or to the Sun card here, and this is your reading. The person on your mind from your past, do they miss you? Do they still care about you? The Sun here is from Moana, and I don't remember his name. I think it's like Tamatoa. I'm not sure what his name was, but he's this lobster, and he's obsessed with having all of this abundance on his back that's really shiny. It's like a distraction, perhaps, for the vulnerability and the loneliness that he actually feels being way deep down in the ocean like that. and like a lack of connection too. So there's this aspect about distracting myself with practical things or practical elements, and thinking that perhaps those things will bring joy, but maybe feeling a little bit emotionally deflated when we start to continue to pack on things and it doesn't bring joy. So there's a message here about where life takes us and where we think we're going to achieve happiness. And sometimes we start climbing up certain mountains and ultimately we don't find the satisfaction we expect we're going to find on that journey. And so we start to take a look into the background and we start to wonder, where was it that I took that wrong turn? Where was I misdirected in my past steps to lead me to this point? And so they're really flooded perhaps with nostalgia. Maybe this is your energy as well, being flooded with nostalgia for this person, and how what you've achieved in life up to this point has not been as satisfying as what you feel like you could have gained with this person, or vice versa. So let's take a look here and see. Do they miss you? Do they still care about you? This person from your past. We have the King of Swords, the Chariot, the Temperance, coming out together in one fell swoop. So we'll pull them as your first set of cards here. Could be dealing with a Libra, a Gemini, or an Aquarius. We have the Emperor. And what I feel like is that this person tried really hard to distract themselves from the connection that they felt with you. It's like they're being very stubborn in that regard too with the Emperor. It's like, even though they are nursing a thirst over you, it's like, I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to protect my clarity. I just saw the Two of Swords. Do they miss you? Do they still care about you? You have the Two of Cups reversed. This could have been someone that you actually dated in the past, because they still think about the ending of that relationship. Much to their chagrin, I keep hearing. It's like much to their own frustration. They keep thinking about this connection and about the breakup and about the dissolving of the relationship. We also have the Star of Aquarius coming out as well. So Aquarius energy could be their sign, perhaps. We also have Leo energy here. Back of the deck is the Three of Pentacles and the Strength. And I do feel like this person, maybe even yourself, have moved into new timelines, and that happens just naturally with evolutions. Moved into new foundations perhaps, and really thinking that this new foundation is going to provide us with the strength that we really need, or with the strength that we want to see. I'm just trying to grab a different deck here. The strength that we want to feel, the security that we want to feel and that we all long for. But it's like there's such a disconnect between the practical security that we chase and the emotional security that we desire, that it's like we sometimes get confused with those two things. So this person has built a lot for themselves, hoping that would give them a sense of strength and stability to cure them of this connection. Because here with the Chariot, with the Temperance, it's taking them longer than they think it should to clear out that confusion from the past, to clear out that energy from the past. And I feel like you remind them of a time when things were fun and when things were easier, and things aren't as easy now, but they're trying to stay focused in that environment. They feel really vulnerable when they think about you. And it's like they struggle because they're not the type of person. It doesn't feel like they're the type of person to hold flights of fancy. It's like they're a very logical, very direct person or something, very smart person. They're not the type of person to like really give themselves over to emotion, and that's what you inspire in them. So it makes them uncomfortable to continue to have this hold, or for you to have this hold over them. It makes them kind of uncomfortable, makes them feel vulnerable. And all a part of this too is the fact that they are struggling so much to put down this feeling for you, is this a reflection of how they do wish for further clarity in the deepest recesses of their soul. Even if they feel like it's not possible, they hope for some sort of revisit to the past. It's like, if I could go back to the past, I would change it. But because I can't change it, I need to focus on my priorities, and I need to focus on what I'm building, because that's going to give me strength. That's going to make me feel better about this attachment from the past. But there's still something that holds on to them. And logic doesn't work for this person to help them to create a more balanced perspective of how they feel. The logic doesn't seem to work. We have the moon, Scorpio energy. And even in the Scorpio energy, you can see this big bull highlighted in the middle of the moon, because they're being stubborn when it comes to the reflection. That's a natural process of even the release and the healing phase. We go through processes of reflection where we're pulling things up from below the surface that we push down so that we can exercise them out, so we can get them out of our system. But they're stubbornly trying so hard not to do the necessary reflections about you, because they feel like that's some sort of weakness, and it communicates some type of weakness in their decisions that they made. We have the Four of Wands, celebration. You have the World. And it's been a long time. It feels like many seasons have come and gone where they've had their mind in a bit of a maze when it comes to you. And there's this feeling of like, I should not feel this imbalance anymore. I should feel okay with everything that happened in the past, with dissolvements of the relationship, of breakups. I should be okay with that now because I have the world. I have everything I ever wanted. I have everything the collective tells me I should have. So why am I still frustrated? Why am I still imbalanced? Why do I still need healing when I have everything? Because this shiny energy doesn't stop them from being vulnerable. It doesn't stop them from the emotional loneliness that they may feel in their environment right now. And ultimately, I just pictured this arrow, in order to make a fire like that, we would have to turn that arrow, constantly, very quickly, in order to create a spark, in order to create that flame. And so it's like my mind's in a maze. I'm constantly twisted up inside. This spark is still here. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And they are emphasizing the necessity for a clearance for growth. It's like they long to feel better, truthfully. So I do feel like they miss you quite a bit. I feel like they care more than they want to. I feel like they care more than they feel they should. And it's frustrating them because they think that they're smart enough, they're logical enough, that emotion shouldn't affect them in some way, or emotion some type of weakness. This could be like the ultimate divine masculine energy here. We do have the Sun and the Two of Swords. And so Spirit says you really have to look beyond this person's immediate appearances or what they're projecting out into the world, even what they're saying to themselves. You have to look deep within to see the heart space, because that's where the clarity lies. They're being passive with even admitting how they feel, even about the loss, because they're trying desperately to continue to protect themselves from the truth of their situation, from the truth of where they're sitting in life, and the truth of their decisions, and the truth of this connection and leaving it behind. They may have been the one to end things ultimately. They may have been the one to make the decision. And there's such a stubbornness in this person of admitting that I did something wrong. It's like they don't want to admit that to themselves. But the truth lies hidden, and the truth is in there. Do they miss you? Do they still care? We have children. Your love life is being affected by children. And this could just be emotional immaturity. But there's an aspect of loyalty here with the dogs as well, and friendship, so that you may have come of age with this person, or there could be children involved at this time. And calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help to bring you closer together. And we have playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So they still have this kind of fiery spark. That's the thought that they allow in. They allow in fiery fantasy. I feel like they don't allow emotion in all the time when it comes to you, not because the emotion isn't present, but because when they acknowledge the emotion, it sends them back into this wave, this upheaval. That's why the Chariot is here. That's why the Temperance is here. When they let the emotion in, it sets them off into something they don't feel like they can control. So they like to focus on the fire elements of your connection. We have here, have faith. Trust your faith in the situation, number 12. Because we have to look so far into beyond what they're showing us in the 3D, Spirit says you have to have faith in how you know this person feels about you, because I feel like you have a more of an in-depth understanding about who this person is and what created them, so to speak. It's like where they came from and why perhaps they have such a stoic approach. Because we have to kind of look beyond what's being shown to us and have faith in the situation, that because we just don't know what they're showing us in this moment. We have get to know each other, learn to meet each other's need for love. And back of the deck says spend quality time together. Listen and talk to each other ultimately. And it could be the fact that they were unable to kind of match what you required in the past of this connection. Because they do long to sort of get to know more about you. They're still curious. It's like, even if you guys dated, I feel like they didn't let it go too deeply, or they didn't reveal themselves too much in that relationship. And so they haven't allowed you to tap in. And I feel like they don't let a lot of people in. There's something about this person that's like they are really independent, and it almost feels like they could have been forced upon that when they were a child. So take that as it resonates. That's a very specific message for someone watching. I almost feel like this person's persona or the way that they guard themselves was created because of a loss they experienced as a child. So please take that as it resonates. Because ultimately they long to be connected, they long to belong, but there's a inherent safety sort of switch inside of them that doesn't really allow that to completely come full circle. Do they love you? Do they still care? Are they missing you from the past? We have here growth, number 44, and it's taking them a long time. Look at the toadstools. It's taking them a long time to tap into spiritual growth. They've built up lots of things practically, but they have come to realize that that's not as satisfying as they expected it to be. So now it's like they've turned their gaze away from spiritual growth, but your connection prompts that. That's why the Four of Wands is here. It's like a prompt for healing, a prompt to cure the emotional thirst that this person has been having to suffer through, not just because of this connection, but again, because of past situations. We do have courage reversed. And it's like, as much as they're trying to present this strong masculine image, they feel like it's a weakness to tap into the emotional realm, and that's where their feelings for you exist. And so it's like a real weakness in them, because we've done a disservice to the divine masculine to tell them that the only acceptable emotions are frustration or anger, that it's some sort of weakness to show any sort of vulnerability. And the truth is that they have to break through that collective idea so that they can experience emotional abundance and emotional love, because they deserve that. Let's get some message cards to see what sort of thoughts this person has about you. Do they miss you? Do they still care? What thoughts do they have about pile number 2, please? Do you believe in magic? The Magician. And I think about control, controlling all the elements on that table with that Magician energy. Someone who wishes that they could communicate with you a little bit, and they are touching upon the connection being something special. If I called you, would you answer? The Judgment card. An acknowledgement that things have left kind of in imbalance. Things were left up in the air. Not sure if you would be happy to hear from them as well. And that's what allows them to be so complacent too when it comes to action, because they are so self-deprecating. They're like, I ruin everything I touch anyway. There's no point in trying. But that's because they're afraid to face the future. They're afraid to face the truth of their decisions. So they're not being honest with themselves even in the present moment when it comes to how they feel. It's like they won't allow themselves to. It makes them feel vulnerable. I watch you, I just can't help it. You may have gone to some sort of school with this person. There could be a program that there could be like a teaching or student element here, so take that as it resonates, not for everyone. They could also be watching your social media at this time as well. And we have Yin. Back of the deck says, I never let you into my sanctuary. And the Yin is like the yin yang. It's like someone who perhaps doesn't realize they're the other half of that, or won't really allow themselves to really sink into that idea. But part of them really hopes that you are the other half of that you're the yin to their yang, so to speak. And they're like, I never let you in. And I wish that I had, because now my mind's a maze. But I feel like they don't let a lot of people into their sanctuary. Do they think about you? Do they miss you? Do they still care? What are their thoughts at this time? It says, don't give up on us. It's coming in reversal. Please don't give up. But they don't know that it's possible for the future. I worry that this is all in my head. The distance between us is killing me. And I'm a different person than you remember, but it's reversed because they're the same. They haven't really, I feel like you are the prompt for healing and shifting in this person's situation. I feel like they are very steadfast in how they behave, how they think. It's like I'm the same. We have here, I'm forever yours. Back of the deck says, I made a huge mistake. It's also reversed because they don't want to admit that to themselves, because then that will make them feel very vulnerable. And it's like they want to gain strength in this new chapter, but that's why they're struggling to do that, because they're failing to acknowledge the truth of that connection from the past and how much it influenced them and how much it gave them an opportunity for growth that they didn't take. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. What was the very last thought that this person had about pile 2 in the bowl? The very last thought that they had about you, they may have been watching something because it deflated them. Whatever they were thinking about, they could have been seeing something. Again, they are claiming to watch your social media, and whatever thought they had really deflated them. It was very sad. It could have included competition or third party. And again, they could be privy to your current situation or just be making assumptions about how you have evolved or what you've evolved into. And they really kind of deflated their own hopes in that moment. Oops, that's another one. We have happy reverse, somebody who perhaps pretends to be happy but is actually not. We have beauty. We have the letter C, and we also have the letter R. I don't know why I just heard Christine, so take that as it resonates to your situation. That's not for everyone. We do have the loyalty of the dog paw here. I think about friendship, loyalty. We have here red, white, and blue flag, the American flag. So I think of bravery. Could also be some type of army connection or some sort of military connection for someone, but take that as it resonates. We have the butterfly of transformation. We also have the divine feminine being sort of a key player when it comes to triggering a transformation or some sort of reflection in this person. We have watermelon. I think of that Harry Styles song. We also have the heart with the key, because we definitely have to look beyond immediate appearances to see the truth inside and the vulnerability inside this character even. And then we have go with the flow, surrender with the seahorse. Oops. That is what I have for you today, pile 2. If it resonated with you, I would love to hear your story below in the comments section. And I would love for you to join our beautiful soul family here if you're not already subscribed, by subscribing to the channel, hitting your notification bell, your like button. It helps me to bring you guys more content. And I just would love to see you back here at the Tarot Cottage. Hello, pile number 3. You are drawn to the purple button, or to the 4 of Cups here. And this is your reading. The person on your mind from your past, do they miss you? Do they still care about you? What are they currently thinking and feeling about you? This 4 of Cups is featuring Captain Hook, and he's got that hook in his hand. It's like this aspect of losing my right hand, losing something that's really, really important to me. And it almost looks like his nose is growing. I don't know why I look at this card and I almost think of Pinocchio. It's like somebody who could be perhaps pretending that they're not feeling that loss, or pretending like they don't feel the pain. It's like overlooking what has been missing from their experience, but it's like they're lying to themselves or other people about how they truly feel. The 4 of Cups in general as well is a very limited in nature with what we feel like we can accomplish. It's like we're not really thinking about the reality of our situation. We're thinking about the emotional waves that hit us when we think about what we have to do to create change. So there's a helplessness that comes in as well with this person's energy. But let's take a look and see about, do they miss you? Do they still care about you? I'm just going to grab a deck here to start. Do they miss you? Do they still care? For pile number 3, please. We have the King of Swords, Libra energy. We have the 5 of Cups. The Page of Coins. The Five of Wands. And we have the World. Back of the deck, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. We also have the Knight of Swords. This person really thought it would be a lot easier to walk away from you. They thought that that wouldn't be as the issue that it's become for them, to be honest with you. But it's like, because they took action, one of the action in the way that they did by removing themselves, or maybe walking away too soon, because they still think about that. It's like, did I walk away from this connection too soon? Did I stop the potential too soon? One of the consequences of that is them feeling kind of stuck in the present energy. Do they miss you? Do they still care about you? We have the Fool. I feel like this person is a hard nut to crack when it comes to actually seeing the emotion that they want to present. We have the Tower with the Three of Pentacles. They're very regretful, to be honest, because they feel like the damage has been done and things are permanent and there's nothing they can do to make change. They really do feel helpless to create change. And it could be because of other situations or other relationships or obstacles, workplace, whatever the Three of Pentacles is representing with this Tower, because I'm dealing with collective energy, but they feel like building a foundation with you is too risky, or it's too difficult, or it's impossible in some way without creating a lot of upheaval. So they're really regretful about some of the choices that they have made when it comes to you, and they are conflicted by that. They're like really conflicted about making you feel overlooked, or themselves feeling overlooked and just not having momentum happen with this connection in the past. It's like they almost feel like they gave you the impression that they didn't care, or that you were some type of option. And that's really eating away at them a little bit. And they want to almost tell you how they feel. It's like they feel like communicating to you. Yeah, there's the Eight of Cups, the Page of Pentacles again. Communicating to you that was not the case. That they want to say it was me, it wasn't you. Like they want to say that specifically. And I feel like both of you could be in very similar practical dynamics right now. So you might both be in relationships, for instance. And I do feel like you both equally want to speak to the other. Like I think there's this desire for the two of you to have a conversation, even in the 3D. They also want to kind of express that if you are privy to the fact that they're in a third-party situation, or if they're in a relationship, for instance, that they're not that happy there. They've learned a lot there, though. Woo, the Two of Cups. Because they do reflect upon what could have been, what could be. Ultimately, if we could just overcome the hurdles of our insecurity, of our attachments here. They get very jealous still in the 3D about you, especially if you have moved into another relationship, and they wonder if you're happy. They wonder if you're happy there. There's a part of them, I'm not going to lie, the maybe emotionally less developed part of them that kind of hopes you're not that happy there. It's not that they don't want you to be happy. They care about you. But there's a part of their ego that couldn't handle that, to hear, oh, you're blissfully happy and you would never look outside of anything. And there's a part of them that would be a little crushed to hear that, because they feel like there's so much unfinished business when it comes to the two of you. And there's almost a message about the divine feminine revealing herself a little bit more than they revealed themselves. So you putting in a little bit more effort in the past. And so they're really kind of taking the brunt of the responsibility of what led the two of you to disconnect. We have the Six of Wands. We have the Empress on the back of the deck with the Chariot. Because it's like they had this epiphany once they had walked away, once they started building a new foundation or building a life for themselves. They had this epiphany as they were building this life, and they can't unlearn that lesson now. They can't unsee it. It's like driving past a car accident. You just can't turn away. And it's just like that. I had this epiphany about you and about who you are, and now that's all I can think about. It's like you're the temptation. And again, you deserve happiness. They want you to be happy. But there's just a part of them that can't stop looking at the past, can't stop wondering about the future. And because in the present there's so much going on, it's almost it feels deflating for this person to focus on what's going on in their present realm, because it feels too deflating, because it doesn't involve you. It doesn't hold you there. You're not in their present energy, and they want to be a part of your life. And so it's like, the only place that you exist is in my memories. And the only place that I can make you exist, again, in the future, is if I throw those projections into the unknown. It's like, you're not here with me right now. It's like, and I just heard that song, Here Without Me, and You're Still on My Lonely Mind, Three Doors Down. I just heard that song. It's like, I'm here without you. And so it's like, they don't want to focus on that because it makes them feel really unfulfilled. But they definitely are still thinking about you. I feel like they are wearing a lot of heavy masks. And I feel like that's something, a habit that they brought forward from the past of this connection as well. Because I think that that's a habitual thing that they do now. You have here, receive with love and appreciation. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love, number 14. And she's grabbing onto a snowflake. And every snowflake is unique. It's almost like they didn't feel like they gave you the impression that they didn't care, but it's because they didn't feel like they had enough to offer or something. We have here, speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. And that's where they failed to perhaps execute the force, was like, I just didn't say what I had to say. And the truth is that this person could be an air sign, which means that part of their strength is in communication, but that's also sometimes where they're going to struggle to build up that strength. You know, they're going to struggle with that until they attack that problem. And so that could be a prompt that helped this person to learn how to communicate more fully in situations. I almost feel like this person could be a speaker or be a teacher or something like that, that uses their voice all the time too. We do have here, practice compassion, see things from a fresh perspective. And that one came in the reverse too, because ultimately they have to see things from a fresh perspective in order to create any type of change here. But also about how they've seen your connection and they see you in a new perspective, that they can't now turn back from that perspective. It's like a permanent sense of loss, of like, oh, that's who you were. That's who you were. That was the opportunity for me. That was the benchmark of my failure in the emotional realm here. And they are conflicted by that. Do they miss you? We have one that hopped up. We have success. We also have clubs. Someone is trying to make you do something against your will. We have here Lily, spiritual love. And it's like they tried to protect themselves from the onslaught of this revelation. They tried to get out with the Knight of Swords before they had the emotion hit them. It's like, I tried to skirt away without the emotional lesson, but I didn't. I faced a consequence. And the consequence now is this feeling of helplessness because I left too soon, or I walked away too soon. We have protection from negative forces beyond your control, the cobweb. And that's the thing, is there's a big spider in the center of that cobweb, and they're like, I made this bed, and now this bed that I made is actually impeding growth in the spiritual love and the spiritual connection. But there's also this sense of wanting to keep that spiritual connection safe somewhere. It's like holding on. We have here egg, success assured with good plans and hard work. And I feel like there's an aspect of maybe even children or growth in that regard, but they still see potential. They still see potential, but they just don't know how to access it. Like muddled, unclear thinking with the forest, wishbone, a wish that will not be granted, and even good luck, horseshoe in reverse. It's like, I still hold this desire, I still hold this wish of unfinished business, but they're not confident that they're going to be able to execute change. We have younger man, dealings a relationship with a younger man. And this big braid, I feel like they always were concerned about what you thought about them in the past. And this is also speaking about what they've learned since that moment, what they've grown to accept, or what they've learned since the disconnect in your connection. Because the braid, I often think about the braid because I saw this video about the braid and how, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, please do, because I'd love to learn about other cultures, but in some indigenous cultures, the braid is a very powerful symbol of protection, of strength, and of holding grief. And so there's an aspect of that too, of not wanting to let go of the grief either. Do they miss you? Do they still care? We have here true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. And we have here, you deserve love, you are lovable. And that's what they're like, I held back and I didn't tell you that, and I made you feel like you weren't worthy or weren't valuable. And I'm afraid that I left you with that impression. But I wish that I could create clarity for you. We have here, very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. And the truth is that because they fuel such consistent thought towards you, it's almost like the universe is confused about where they actually want to be. It's like, where do you actually want to be invested here? We have here synchronicity. A divine soul counterpart relationship is blessed with amazing moments of synchronicity. And we do have marriage being a factor in this connection at this time. We have remarkable in the back of the deck. Notice everything remarkable about your relationship. And they feel like they didn't see it quite soon enough. They didn't see it right in the very past of this connection, but they see it now. But now there's some bigger obstacles that are getting in the way of this connection. Let's get a couple of message cards about their current thoughts about pile number 3, please. I'm not blind to the signs, I see them. It's like I saw you there. I wasn't blind to you, and they're definitely not blind to who you are at this moment. But my nerves were getting the best of me in the past. I feel like they're still kind of getting the best of them in the present. I know that there's a spiritual connection here. I know that we're being spiritually guided. I've thought about and had fantasies about living together and what that would be like. I have a lot of gratitude for you. But this whole twin flame stuff really, really scares me. And that's why it just contributes to those nerves, contributes to the overthinking cycle. I really want to feed my curiosity, and I really should be satisfied with what I have, but I do not feel satisfied with what I have. The attraction is undeniable. It's like I can't unsee the truth of how I feel. And I wish that I could see you so badly. I loved you then, I loved you still, I always have, I always will. I always think of marriage when I see that card too. I want to reach out to you, but I am too scared. And back of the deck says, I do lie about my feelings for you. And I thought that when I saw the 4 here, it looks like his nose is longer than normal. It's like a Pinocchio nose. So they lie about their current feelings for you as well. So let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. What is the very last thought about your person had about you in this connection from the past in the bowl? The 4 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and how they're keeping the Queen of Wands waiting. They're wondering if you're mad. They're thinking about your life now, wondering about whether you think about them and whether or not you are angry at them or upset at them for being kept waiting or being kept sort of undervalued, so to speak. And they're really kind of surrendered to this idea that you're probably upset with them. But again, this is their way of allowing their nerves to continue to go in that cycle so that they can give themselves permission to procrastinate against taking some sort of action. We have secret, you're a secret, beauty, J and K and I. We have the pants. I often see, like, I don't know why, but I sometimes hear sisterhood of the traveling pants, so take that as it resonates. But there's also this aspect of her, like hospital scrubs with the white pants. We do have the crescent moon with the peacock feathers. I do think about somebody who was too afraid to step outside of their position to create change or to be honest about their feelings. We have Cupid's arrow, and we have a wrench in our plan. So somebody who wants to make some sort of contact, but the wrench is their position or your position. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, please drop your comment below for a chance to win a free video reading with me. You can also check out my link below for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. But I would love to have you come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I do hope that you have a beautiful day.